get started. First, I want to say it again. Just want to thank everybody in the organization for all their help, our coaches, our scouts, support staff. There's a lot that goes into this, a lot of time. And the real cool thing is we have a good group that when you put everyone in the room and we work together so well, good things happen. Really good communication all the way through. So really smooth process. And the cool thing is just taking that next step from, last year I thought we got even better. So just want to make sure I did say thank you for everyone's input into this process. Another really good day. Excited about the players that we added to our team. The one thing that was clear was we wanted to continue to add the guys that matched the culture that we've set and coaches set in terms of our standard, how we're going to play this game. On top of that, as you could probably see, increased traits. We talk about big, long, fast all the time, and that's exactly what we did. And we're going to stick to that because that's what we need to be moving forward to take the next step. So obviously today we kicked it off with a trade from the start of the round. Thought it was really a good opportunity to recoup the pick that we had traded earlier, which set us up nicely so that we had 10 picks on the day. Went with Roshan to kick it off. This was a guy I was shocked that was still on the board. He is a really good football player that I know is going to be successful in this league in many different ways. And on top of that, probably you could understand from talking to him over that Zoom call, he's a unbelievable human being as well who's going to enhance our culture, enhance our locker room, and continue to meet the standards that we put in place. Next was Tyler Scott at 4'34", 133. We had the speed there. Another player I did not think was going to be around. Continues to help our receiving core go vertical, stretch the field, which again matches our quarterback's skill set, and is going to help us be more explosive, which is important in this game. Then we went Noah Sewell at 5', 148, a player we had high on the board as well. You could probably argue, say last year if he came out, he would have been much higher than what he was. He's another linebacker. We have I called our linebacker coach and said he was spoiled because he's got so many good players in his room. So that's going to be a really competitive room with a bunch of good guys, and he's going to help us in many different ways. Terrell Smith, a guy that really stood out to us at the East-West game. He can straight fly on top of having size in length, which is beautiful. He's a 10.39 guy coming out. He can roll. Then the last two picks, Travis Bell. This is probably one of my favorite human beings. He is a special person. I didn't want him to leave after his 30 visit, and he didn't want to leave either. There's something different about this guy. He is passionate about the game. When you talk about having a full-time job during the season and showing up to the locker room in your clothes with your ID badge and your little knife, from his job, that tells you what the game means to him. He's working, and football and practice is recess to him, and those are the guys that we want. And he plays hard. His film, he goes sideline to sideline, like he said. That is not a lie, and it stands out on tape. I love the intensity that he plays with, and again, that's going to make us better. Coming out of high school, the guy played D-line, running back, linebacker, fullback, everything. You can see that in the way that he moves. And then finished it up with Kendall Williamson. Again, size, speed, range at the safety position. It's going to be really good on special teams as well. So I couldn't be more excited to have these guys, and I thought we finished up strong. So I'll open up to questions.
Ryan, with Roshan, what's your vision for who he will be in your offense and what you can turn those to do?
Yeah, I think he increases the competition in the running back room. But the cool thing about him is if you watch Texas tape, he does a lot. Pass protects really well. That stands out. He's done some quarterback stuff. He came out, of high school as a quarterback. So this is going to allow our offensive staff to maybe do some really cool things with him and keep a defense on their toes.
Ryan, with the cap space you had and the draft capital you had, I think Bears fans thought you'd do a little more to fortify the defensive end position. Is that a fair concern after this draft?
Yeah, I think I talked about that before. I think You want to fix everything immediately, but it's got to work the right way. The right players got to be there that fit our scheme. They want to be here, so we can't fix everything at a high level in one swoop. So we are aware of our strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to be opportunistic. That's why we've done what we've done, and we still have flexibility to do what we need to do to improve in different areas. And if that's the area that we improve moving forward, we do. If that doesn't, opportunity doesn't open up, then we'll just continue to what we're doing. But there's also drafts next year, and we've set ourselves up nicely for that too.
You're good going with what you got in the camp if it just ends right here at defensive end, right?
Camp's a long ways away, so we'll stay on our toes, and if something presents itself, we'll be able to do that. We can do it financially as well.
With Roschon, is there value to taking a running back with less tread on his tires than some other?
Yeah, I mean, that's something we look into. Obviously, durability is a big deal at all positions, but, when you're in a rotation like that, that obviously allows you to stay fresh. So hopefully that serves them well.
Matt, what did you, when you got to see Darnell in person in Mobile, what were some of your takeaways, and why do you think he's the right fit for you guys?
Yeah, just a really big athlete. We talked about, his feet and his ability to regain. If he loses his balance, and gets off balance, he can regain it and reset his hands inside to be able to protect. So he's, fabulous, energy, with him. He's a willing learner, wants to get better, and we see a lot of upside with him too. We feel that he was the best lineman in the draft. But we also know that he's got the best upside, for growth potential. We're excited about where he is.
What did Chris Morgan tell you about his workout when he got back?
Yeah, just that they tried to work him through it, to see if we can push him through and he could focus and stay in the moment, and stay, have mental focus during that time, and he did a nice job.
Matt, with Noah Sewell, it seemed like Oregon was using him more in a rush role last year than he had been at any other point of his career. Was there kind of a rhyme or reason to that from your estimate?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. But he's a fantastic instinctual player. He's obviously a big hitter. He can go sideline to sideline, so that's what we like about him.
Ryan, in the big picture of where you want to take this team,
Yeah.
you have had only a limited window to add.
Yep.
Where do you feel like that's at in the big picture now after this draft as far as getting this roster where you want it?
Yeah, I think we've taken a pretty big step forward in that space. With that, I think when you add a lot of rookies in the draft process that are going to play for you, they have to learn to be pros as well, so that's going to take a little bit of time. That's why we've tried to do a nice job kind of balancing, bringing in the young guys in this past free agent class. So I think we've taken a big step. There's, ways to go as well, but I think we're making progress.
Right, back to Mark's question about the pass rush. You've obviously had the street free agents in the back of your head. What would make something like that work for you? What are you looking for on that market to find a fit and something that would make you move?
Well, first, you want the right talent in, and then, like anything, proper value that makes sense, where I've talked about 100 times, but we try to stay disciplined, do the right thing, and not panic, and do something that's going to hurt us down the road. And I think that has paid off for us, and it'll continue to. So you're just looking for that marriage of everything to work out the way that it should, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but for certain things to line up the right way in terms of talent, age, production, all of that.
Tyler Scott classified himself as a raw receiver and knows that it can't just be speed. What is there a risk in taking guys like that who have been built on speed but might not be the most proficient route runners, and how do you get them to that next step, knowing that it isn't just the stretch the field element that he's going to need to be reliable?
Yeah, that's where coaching comes into play. Do you have the tools that you can't teach, and that's speed? So yes, that's one box checked, and then the player himself and the work ethic and the time they're going to put into the details. And I think that's what this level is all about. It's the details on how to do things the right way, so that you have proper timing, proper separation, all of that. So he checks all of those boxes. So I know with good coaching, and his hard work that he's going to put into, that he can take that next step and add the detail of route running with the speed, and that'll be a deadly combination. But the beautiful thing is when you have top-end speed, that buys you time to get that detail in and become a pro in your skill set and how you approach the game.
Ryan, given where you were going to the draft, the number of picks you had, and where you were picking, to what extent do you feel that you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish in the draft?
Yeah, we've accomplished a lot. I wanted to get bigger, faster. I wanted to find areas that we needed to get better and put players that I think can impact the game in those spaces and help us get better. And I think we've done that. So, like I said, this is a long journey in terms of getting to the top. I don't know if you ever get the perfect roster, but that's what we chase all the time. But I think we've done a good job taking the proper steps to improve our football team.
Ryan, offensively, do you feel like you have now put enough in place for Justin, that you've given him enough help to where the personnel around him will not be one of the detrimental factors that he has to overcome?
Yeah, that's, you want to support your quarterback. We all know that's where it starts. So you want to surround him with talent. We had to wait a little bit to do it the way I wanted to do it and the way we wanted to do it. And I think we found some good opportunities to do that, solidify and improve the O-line, make sure that we have the running game to stay balanced, and then give them different types of receivers and different threats to create separation from the tight ends to receivers. So more big plays can be made and you can grow your confidence and get in a rhythm. So now, that's the other thing we need to talk about too, is just building that chemistry with all of these new players coming together. So we're looking forward to this offseason and putting that time in and, building that chemistry so everyone can rely on each other.
Your competent pieces are there, though. You want to see Justin take the leap. This won't be part of the equation. He'll have the pieces he needs to make that leap now.
Yeah, it's got to come together, but I feel on paper right now, I feel like we've done a good job to surround him with good talent.
Matt, you've called the three technique the engine of the defense. What excites you about that?
Yeah, I mean, all three of those D tackles excite me. I'm excited to get those guys in here, get our hands on them, and work with them, and see how they work. Number one, and see their movement skills, up front, and in person. And those guys are going to be dynamic. Obviously, they're all different shapes and sizes. All the three guys that we drafted. So, they're big, they're long, they're fast, they're athletic. So it's exciting to be able to have those guys and add those guys into our middle of our defense. We really feel that's a very important part to playing good run defense and also playing, being able to push the pocket, dent the pocket inside, and to have some big athletes in there. It's certainly harder to throw around those guys too in the pass rush. So it's exciting. Go ahead.
We've heard a lot about scheme fit with the players you're bringing in. So with that in mind, with the two quarterbacks, how do you evaluate their scheme fit specifically?
Yeah, just, with corners, there's two things that a defensive player, any defensive player has to do: take the ball away and tackle, and that's line one and line two. And the guys on our team know that. And so those guys are physical. Both of them are physical. They like to hit. They got quickness. They got instincts, and they got strike. And those are the things we look for. And they're hits principle guys, and that's what Ryan and his staff did an outstanding job. Area scouts, coaches, of really identifying that trait to be able to bring those guys into the building. So if you want to have a team that hustles, you want to have a team that hits, you want to have a team that plays tough, you bring those guys in, and we take it from here and we bring them to here with standards. And that's what we're all about, and that's what we're doing here together, scouts and coaches. So we're excited about those two guys.
Ryan, there was a report that you guys are bringing in a quarterback undrafted rookie. I don't know if you can touch on that yet because it's probably not official, but just in general, what is your philosophy of having the ability to develop a rookie quarterback and kind of having a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, it's really no different than any other position in terms of our mindset and trying to develop guys. So I know Luke and Andrew and those guys will do a great job trying to get those guys to, improve their game and get better.
Matt, Ryan was talking the other night about how the first round at least went the way the numbers, or your numbers thought it would. And what was that like for you to watch, and kind of the accuracy of that, and from your perspective, is it kind of creepy the way he said it? He said it was creepy close.
Yeah, it's cool to watch. It really is. You know, when you work hard at something, a lot of good things happen. You know, and it lined up the way we wanted it to, and it's the scouts and the coaches being on the same page. But he goes through all those models and different things that comes through runs them through the numbers, and he does that for the last, I don't know how many weeks, couple weeks. And so it's cool to watch when it comes down that way, and we got some really good players. We're excited about it.
Ryan, was there one thing that surprised you at all about kind of the way people came off the board?
Not so much how they came off the board. The amount of trading I feel like just keeps going up every year, which is good. There's more opportunities to add picks this year, next year. I think it really makes sure that you got to have your numbers right in terms of kind of reading the board, how many guys you have in certain spaces, how much you can move back without losing, a certain player or a group of players, which I love. I mean, that's what you dream of kind of doing when you come up and you want to be a GM. And so I think just the amount of trades kind of was surprising, but it just keeps going up, I feel like, every year.
Matt, we've heard about Ryan's goal and hope to build this team and this organization through the draft. As a coach and with your staff, how do you look at the challenge and the opportunity of developing these guys and trying to see the potential of this
No,
group?
that's great. That's why I hired these coaches, as teachers. They all have a heart of service, and they love to teach, and they're good teachers. And we pride ourselves in developing these young guys. And as you guys know, we're not afraid to put young guys in there. If guys are good enough to start, we're gonna put them in there and play them. And we're excited about the competition with the young guys and the guys we added last year, and we'll see where it goes. But we're going to play with the best guys. Our coaches have done a really nice job with developing the guys.
Now, with the way that you and Ryan work together, to what extent do you feel this is your roster? This is a roster that you have crafted.
I would say we've crafted. Yeah. I mean, when we met, a couple years ago, and we started to build our relationship, it was pretty evident early on that we coveted the same style and coveted the same players. So that's a natural fit for him and I. So I just think we're just continuing that and continuing to grow together and really putting that forth into place now.
Man, with regard to pass rush, I think it was Ryan who talked earlier about using the interior of the line to create opportunities for the edge guys.
Yep.
That's, to some people, might run counter. Most people want their ends to be their best guys, but in your defense, it seems like even in Indy, that's the way it works. What is it about your defense that creates that kind of a setup, and is it different?
Yeah.
Somewhat unique.
I would say that, the quarterbacks now are, for the most part, aren't as big, aren't as tall, so their sight lines are a little bit less than they used to be. So I really believe that when you have a nice guy that can dent the pocket inside, I really think that pressure is felt right away because they're closer to the quarterback. And I think it frees up the guys, gives them one-on-ones on the outside when you have got two guys in there that can really do that. Because we've done it in the past where we had guys on the outside that are bigger type ends and kick them inside just because of their length, and they're going against shorter arm players typically in there with your guards and centers. So we like that mismatch at times.
Ryan, you came into the offseason with a pretty exciting opportunity and a pretty demanding to-do list. Now that we get to the end of this phase, so to speak, what's the method of decompression, your drink of choice tonight when you get a chance to take a breath?
Yeah, I mean, we got rookie minicamp next week, so bourbon would be that, little Jefferson's Ocean maybe. But the cool thing is we're going to take a step back here, and one thing we do really well, coaching staff and front office, is just kind of do an after action, and we go through and we detail. We fixed a lot of the kind of little things that may have been sloppy in last year's process and tighten it up, and we'll tighten it up even more. We'll sit down with all the scouts and go over, feedback from the entire season, and then I'll give feedback on myself as well and where I can improve, and we'll just try to take that next step.
In your own professional life, fair to say this has been the most eventful 3 months of
Oh,
your world?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's been awesome, and I'm excited about where we're headed, and we've been able to do things the right way, and that's opened up opportunity. Now you look forward to winning more football games, and then in terms of a front office guy, I'm already looking, all right, what do we have in next year's draft, and how can that help, and what is that class? I had one of our guys start writing up top guys for next year just to see what it looks like. It looks good. So.
Ben, earlier this offseason, you said, like, just toying with the idea about Cody moving back to center, and with Lucas still in the mix there, maybe down the line, maybe this offseason, is it a priority to maybe get younger at that position, just adding some depth there?
For right now, I feel good with Cody and Lucas, both as leaders and players. They've both played that position well in the past, so I think we're in good shape there. And obviously, you know, that's my job, is to always look forward and add competition in certain, you know, positions, and we'll continue to do that.
Ryan, as part of your introduction, you mentioned that Tyler is one of your favorite humans. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? What makes him one of your favorite humans?
You know, just again, when you work a full-time job, just to provide for yourself and your family, and to get by, and then you kind of show up to practice like that. Like, I don't know, there's something different about it. And you know, I was joking with him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm at these training facilities with these Power 5 guys. They have no idea how good they got it." There's just something about him. There's something special about the human being, the energy that he has, and the passion for the game. You can just tell, just a good person that you want around.
Matt, this was, to go back to Darnell, this was your first pick as
Yep.
first round pick as a head coach. Like, how active were you in the evaluations and players in that range, and like what sold you maybe personality wise with Darnell?
Yeah, it's, you know, I really take direction from Ryan, you know, in terms of who he wants me to look at and who, you know, he wants me to give feedback on. And I evaluated a lot of guys, certainly in the first 2 rounds, a bunch, and then certainly at the end a little bit more, you know, than we've done in the past or last year. So it was fun. I love doing that. You know, it's takes me back to my college days. Like I said before, it's kind of fun to be able to do that and look at those athletes. But in terms of Darnell, I mean, just like I said, an outstanding person, okay, and a great worker. And you could see the raw traits for him to be able to really improve and get better. And he's already good, but we're excited to have him, and he's going to be a force in there.